What up, guys? This is Solid Saiyan, and I just finished watching episode 69 of Dragon Ball Super, and oh my god, um, I never thought I would do an episode review, uh, and I'm just so, speechless. It was great. I don't even know how to start this. Oh man. Okay, so first we get to see Arale, and she's from Doctor Slump, by the way. Um, Maybe I should start with the history of like what I know about the character in that show or manga. I mean, so so Arale has always been an interesting character to me because she appeared in games like Tenkaichi 3, and she's one of Toriyama's works and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, she's awesome. And then you see the gameplay of her, and so I always wanted to know more about her. So I did do a little bit of research, and then I also played J Star's Victory Versus, like, I don't know, months ago, maybe a year ago, I'm not sure. And I like this character, I do. And then there's like a lot of cool things that like anyone who knows about Dr. Slump would recognize, I guess. Things like her punching the earth and breaking it in half. That was awesome. I remember the Ultimate in J Stars. That it was so awesome, and then she has a move where she brings up energy, I guess, from her mouth, I guess, and then shoots it out from her nose, similar to a Kamehameha. And I always thought that's awesome. They're so similar, and like, can you imagine a clash between them? And that's another thing I like J Stars for, because I'm like, we could shoot those beams at each other and stuff, and oh my god, I just can't believe it. So I guess we should finally start talking about the episode itself. So I know a lot about Dragon Ball, way more than I know of Dr. Slump, but I got a lot of these jokes, and I was very excited and very happy to see the rest of this episode because it was so good. Um, so right when the episode starts, we hear the Dr. Slump intro. I was cracking up when I first saw that, because I knew a lot of the fans of Dragon Ball would not know what that is about, and and I was so happy and everything because I recently watched that introduction to the to Doctor Slump because I was gonna start watching that series. So I recognized the song right away, and that's why it was so funny to me. So it's so hard to do this review. Like I got things coming left and right in my mind right now because okay, some people call her Arale and then some Arale. Um, Arale is the right way, I guess, and then Arale is kind of like a misconception of her name, I guess. I don't know how to explain that, but basically that's what some people call her because that's what they called her in Tenkaichi 3. Kabito Shinkai said, "Oh, hey, look, it's Arale. I was a fan of hers." I don't know if you guys remember that, but that just came to mind. And see, like I'm already all over the place. Okay. Okay, so the story of the episode is that basically the concept is that Arale is gonna visit the Dragon Ball universe now, um, and the first time was originally in Dragon Ball, and and I love how they did it. They kind of like got the smartest scientist, Doctor Slump himself, um, which is an insult in their universe, but they got him to join up in this convention or whatever award ceremony for inventions. And Bulma was there because obviously she's an inventor, and I don't remember seeing what her invention was in this episode. If there was something, can like someone tell me? I think I caught that. So so he ends up winning, and his machine is very Toriyama esque, I guess you could say. I know a lot of people like to call these like episodes that are in between certain arcs as filler, but I got the Toriyama vibe from this episode, so I'm pretty sure he did work on this as well. Uh, so the machine that won is something that's kind of illogical. It's a machine that basically you just gotta desire something, and then the machine picks up on what that is and then creates it out of nothing. So yeah, that's impressive, and it doesn't make sense how it works. So that's why he won. And then we get introduced to okay, wait. Before that, we find out that Goku is a security guard. He got a job from Mr. Satan, and so Chi Chi kind of pushed him into doing it. And I thought his hair was funny. That was a funny little scene right there. I'm like, what? At first I thought it was Gohan, cause okay, so I'm a person who never watches like the previews to any other episodes and stuff. Um, so like when I watched episode 68, I just ended. Once it ended and the music ended, I didn't watch the preview, so I didn't know a lot of these things were happening. Um, I knew Arale was coming, and yeah, that's basically it. So seeing the hair, it was really funny, and I thought it was also pretty funny how he's like, this job's kind of weird or whatever. He rips his tuxedo, he messes up his hair again, and then he leaves. And then a little later, we see one of the main villains of Dr. Slump, which his name was Dr. Machirito. It's kind of hard to pronounce, I know. I'm not really that used to these guys, so yeah. So I love this episode because Senbei, again, another one I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not really familiar as much as Dragon Ball. So he's like, "What? What are you doing here? Whatever." And he picks up in the subtitles it says it's a comic, but which is kind of like what a manga is. But yeah, he gets the Doctor Slump manga, and he sees that, hey, you died. Like, why are you here? And so he's like, well, I'm a ghost, like, and I escaped from hell, and so I came over here to basically like mess up everything. Um, and so jokes about comic characters and manga characters and whatever are jokes that Toriyama has done in the past, and you catch them if you read the manga, because the anime like changes some of the words, so they never really refer to comic book related things. So that's what I thought was also really funny, almost as if Toriyama was kind of like he changed his mindset to I'm writing a manga right now, so here's what it's gonna be like, and then they created it into the episode. So I thought that was also very funny, and I'm pretty sure people thought that was kind of weird. Um, so Arale and the Gachans get like poisoned, and the point of it was to destroy everything because these are really strong characters. So they drink something called Playtime X. This poison makes people, well, the kids want to actually play, but 100 times more than they would normally want to. So yeah, a lot more excited, and they won't really follow rules and stuff because like they really want to play. So okay, I thought that was also very Toriyama-esque. And so the Gachans start eating the building, and Mr. Satan, being him, he tries to get everyone to leave the place so they don't see what goes on, and he gets Vegeta to fight Arale, and then obviously he would try to take credit at the end of it. So right before the fight begins, right before we go to the commercial break, there was this awesome scene where Vegeta's like, "Okay, come at me, Arale, let's fight." And I was super excited right here. But then it goes to commercial, so I'm like, oh my god, I'm already like having a heart attack. I'm like, I can't wait to see what comes next. And then it cuts to Goku being outside just chilling, and then Vegeta comes crashing out the building because Arale had just pushed him. So Vegeta figures out that Arale was a comic book character or a gag comic character, which those characters, or at least in Toriyama's mangas, are characters that can do incredible things and also illogical things. So Vegeta's scared of it because he knows he shouldn't fight a character like that because he'll have trouble. Um, but he's still willing to fight with her a little longer. Um, I also thought it was kind of weird how if he knew he was losing, he should have transformed. But it's whatever. I was enjoying the episode, and I knew this wasn't gonna be a serious thing, so it was just like whatever to me. So then we see Arale and Goku meet, and it's the funniest thing ever because they kind of recognize each other's face and stuff, and like or each other, but they don't know who each other are. And I thought that was so funny too. Like, oh my god. So then Vegeta comes in at Arale trying to beat her up because he's so pissed. He's like, "How are you gonna like do that to me and stuff?" So he hits her really hard, and then she ends up coming back and hurting Vegeta. Which again, he's like, "Well, this doesn't make sense." Because she's a comic character, so it doesn't make any sense to him. And he's like, "Okay, so I gotta fight differently then. I gotta fight kind of as a gag comic character." So he distracts her, and then he swings at her. I'm sorry, well, kicks her, and so her head falls off, and everyone's like, "Oh crap, what's going on? Did she just die?" And yeah, and so Goku's like scolding Vegeta, sort of. He's like, "You didn't have to go that far." And then Vegeta's kind of like scared because he's like, "Holy crap, I just killed her." And then everyone finds out that she's just a robot. So then another thing Arale does that oh my god, I just really loved. She just hit the ground and she broke the earth. Um, Now again, this is something that made me smile a lot. Like I was just like, oh my god, this is so great. But the earth didn't look like Earth originally is in Dragon Ball. I know Earth normally has a lot of changes throughout every series of Dragon Ball, but it didn't look detailed and stuff. It kind of looked just like a normal globe. I didn't really have a problem with that, but that was kind of weird. It did come to mind, so yeah. So Vegeta again, he's like, oh, she's just like breaking the rules of like physics and all kinds of stuff. Like, she doesn't make sense. And then Arale does another move called the Arale kick, and she sends Vegeta flying off. And this is the last time we see Vegeta till the very end of the episode. Which again is another weird thing because you expect him to come back. Oh right, and then she headbutts him, which is another move she had done, and this kind of reminds Goku of who she is because in Dragon Ball she did that to General Blue, which is the first time Goku and Arale met. And this took place in Penguin Village. So after they find out who each other are, Goku decides to power up, which is something Vegeta should have done, and then Arale decides to do her sneeze attack type of thing, where she brings up her energy to her mouth and then releases it through her nose, and maybe also her mouth. I'm not really sure about that. So yeah, this is the beam. I thought it was similar to the Kamehameha, and then Goku counters by doing the same thing. So I was super geeking out about this. I was so hyped, and then Arale says something so scary, and even me like watching it, I'm like, no way, she's gonna do that. She's like, I'm gonna do it again, but this time 100 times stronger. Um, and then Goku also is surprised, like, no way. And then he's gonna do it. He's gonna do his Kameha back at her, while Hercule and Bulma are trying to figure out how to stop the situation. Cause it was kind of weird. I guess it kind of seemed like they didn't know if Goku could beat her, so they were thinking, well, we could get Beerus to fight her, or stop her or whatever. Which I thought it was pretty dumb, because Goku didn't seem like he was trying his hardest. Neither was Vegeta, so if they got like a fair fight and they were actually trying to beat her, they would easily win, in my opinion. Even though she is a gag character or whatever. They didn't necessarily have to kill her, but they could have just like fought her off until the poison wore off, which a little later it did, so I'm pretty sure they could have. Um, so next, Mr. Satan and Bulma try to go and figure out how are they going to stop Arale. So they go to Mr. Machirito to figure out how to calm her down. Um, and, well, he's the bad guy, so he's not going to tell. And then Senbei, or Dr. Slump, he doesn't know what to do either. So Trunks says poop, which reminds Dr. Slump, or Senbei, something that's always super fun for Arale. So they just remember, or he kind of desires poop, so the machine makes it. And so the plan is to use the poop to have Arale calm down for a little while they while they try to get Beerus back on Earth to stop Arale, which again, pretty dumb. So as soon as Arale sees the poop, she starts playing around with it. And again, another really funny thing, because that's also something I knew about, I knew she would do and stuff. So I'm really happy how this episode turned out with that. Like all these gags and stuff they put all together. It was so good. Uh, then we see Bulma again, and this time she has a plan where she wants everyone on Earth to imagine everything that's great in terms of food, and kind of imagine it so that the machine makes one perfect food that that Beerus will like, apparently. And I don't know, before we actually saw the little piece of food, I was expecting it to be like just a bunch of things. And me while watching the episode, I was thinking about Chinese food. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, and so yeah, I was just expecting a flood of all kinds of food coming out and stuff. But nah, it just turned out it was kind of something like a chocolate type looking thingy, kind of like what Vegeta was turned into in the Buu Saga. And so Beerus smells it, and Beerus and Whis arrive immediately, which that's kind of weird. I don't know why. I thought they normally go as fast as they can, and it still takes them a long time to get to Earth, but somehow they appeared quickly. Which again, this is just a funny episode, so it wasn't really a problem for me. But I did notice when they arrived, Beerus looked very strange, like the way they drew him in and stuff. Not a big problem. I just thought of pointing that out. And then we see something that I thought was kind of cool, but kind of weird too. Beerus destroys Mr. Machito, and he was a ghost. So again, kind of weird. Alright though. And then Beerus is like marking out how awesome the food was. He's like really happy, and He's like, it's tasty and whatever. And then Arale's like, which I also thought was pretty funny. She's like, oh look, a cat, and let's play. And then Beerus is like, oh, if you disrupt my moment like that, I'll destroy you. So he blows everyone away with his energy, and he points his fingers towards Arale. And honestly, I was like, don't destroy her. Like, if Super does that right now, this could piss me off so much and like destroy this episode for me. And then I thought, wait, they wouldn't do that to Toriyama's creations and stuff. They wouldn't do that to a character so big as Arale. And so I was like, okay, no, they're probably not gonna do that. And good thing is that they didn't. Another funny moment as to why they didn't was because Beerus had a tummy ache, sort of, and they explained it as all the food they made kind of had this chemical reaction in his stomach, which is probably why it happened. And yeah, that's good stuff. Um, but then it gets even funnier because Trunks actually says, well, actually, maybe it was because the machine, the invention, actually had just made poop before making the most delicious food ever in the universe or whatever. So that's probably why it hurt Beerus' stomach. And I'm like, yeah, perfect. That's excellent. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, it was perfect. Good, funny way to explain what happened with Beerus' stomach. And then the next scene, everyone's saying goodbye to each other and whatever. And I really like this moment too, because Goku's like, hey, let's fight again. And Arale's like, okay, and see you later, Goku. See you later, Arale. It was so good too. And I really hope she comes back. Definitely. Um, and and then Trunks in the last scene we see of him, he kind of seems older. Like I wonder if there was another time skip or if that was just like animation type of thing. I don't know what went on there. If that was like accidental, they kind of copied what future Trunks looked like, or if they were implying that he did get older. So next we see that Vegeta is I don't know, it's kind of dumb, kind of weird. He's basically hanging by his clothes, similar to how Bulma was in Dragon Ball, and he's just telling himself, "I'm never gonna fight another gag comic character ever again." And then it cuts out, and episode's over. So overall, I gotta say this episode was really good, really funny. I know people are gonna be pissed because some things didn't make sense because that universe and the Dragon Ball universe is very different. But you just gotta think about it as something just comedic, just just a joke, a parody, I guess. Just don't think about it too hard about this episode. Don't do some power scaling stuff with this episode because it was all just for fun. And so let me know if you guys think that Toriyama actually did work on this episode, because I did see a lot of similarities, like his works, rather than what Toei normally does. And so next in the preview, I tried not to see it, but I didn't realize I hadn't like stopped the episode. I had it playing, so I did look at the screen, and it seems something relating to baseball and the Universe 6 characters are back. So that's all I know. I did get to see also that Yamcha was there, and we saw like the wolf appear, and I'm like, no way. I was also very excited about that because we haven't seen that in so long, where Yamcha does his Wolf Fang Fist, and you see the wolf and stuff, and it was such an awesome move, and so I'm really excited to see how they work this out in the next episode. Uh, Hopefully everything's good there too. But again, that's another one that no matter what happens there, don't think about it too hard. Kind of just laugh and stuff. And yeah. So overall, what do you guys think about this episode? I personally really did like it. Uh, as I said multiple times already, because yeah, it was great. But yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. This was Solid Saiyan, and I'm out. Peace.